Atrium House by Drew Architects. This exceptional residence has been thoughtfully designed to cater to the needs of a growing family while forging a seamless connection with its surrounding gardens. The driveway draws you in, creating a grand arrival experience. The home exudes a unique sense of humanity through its clever spatial use and thoughtful design. From the striking mushroom column and intentional building orientation to the cleverly exaggerated length of the structure, dotted with courtyards and atrium park voids, the monolithic nature of the building is ingeniously broken. These green sanctuaries offer intimate encounters with nature, fostering moments of quiet reflection and providing visual and residual connections to others as you move through the home. At the heart of the Atrium House lies the inviting living space where family members and guests effortlessly come together, embodying the essence of human connection. The Atrium House is an architectural masterpiece thoughtfully celebrating the essence of family life.
Corner of Loft and Heights project by Myatt and Hart Architects. The design guidelines promulgated by housing estates all too often inhibit the creativity of architects. But this was not the case in the new house designed by Myatt Hart. Using the estate's predetermined contemporary barn style, they have generated a series of exciting spaces by creating two contrasting barns arrayed at right angles to one another, each articulated with a different palette of building materials. The four-bedroom family home sits on the estate's smallest site, located close to the street edges. This design has maximized the amount of garden space around which the house pivots. The two barns, connected by a glazed entranceway, are irregularly punctuated by windows which are either punched into or pulled out of the form, framing the experience of the building and its context. Spatially, the building uses volume, its expansion or compression, to define the internal experiences, with intimate low spaces contrasting with tall double-height volumes. This has given rise to a building that is a simple and thoughtful expression of how the clients live. The design emphasized a series of rich experiences across the various pockets of spaces. Creating Coromandel, Marco Zanuso in South Africa. A very well-crafted, considered and creative exposé which documents a truly seminal architectural artifact, Coromandel. Not only have they provided an accurate and visually stimulating account, but managed to position South African architecture in the global context, in time and space. The book provides insight into a South African vernacular through regionalism, emanating from postmodernity. We have, amongst others, Marco Zanuso and Sydney Press to thank for this. The book brings to life both the personal and relational aspects of architecture through demanding tectonics, bold for its time, but timeless in creation. The authors have managed to position this work within contemporary architecture, theory of sustainability, biophilic and appropriate climatic responsive buildings, today new concepts but somewhat radical at the time. The literature was evidently researched and successfully curated. It does not dull the reader as it navigates the Project Coromandel through the socio-political environment at the time, South African architecture and its search for definition, and the global postmodern regionalism movement driven by the students of modernist masters. The book reveals the relationship of the owners, the architect, South Africa, and records the evolution of South African architecture. This book could be considered as a seminal piece for architecture students and a must-read for practitioners to uncover lost legacy pieces in South African architecture. The additional supporting information and references are invaluable, combined with the array of images and architectural drawings which illuminate the unconventional but client and site-appropriate plan. Esse Academy by Co-op Design. This is a training and visitors centre cited to set a benchmark for future expansion. Because the building would be erected by the company itself, construction was conditioned by the skills available and resulted in an assembly of prefabricated components in timber, consistent with the zero-carbon ethos. The approach to the regular building beneath a planar roof is down an irregular cascade of stairs to the northern veranda, aside of which lies a garden marked with benches for seating, while sliding timber and glass screens within the skeletal timber frame enclose the building and subdivide the interiors. The building integrates with the energy and water systems of the context, augmented by solar, while for ventilation, fresh air from inside the forest is drawn into the building. The jury found that the building absorbed the setting, was well integrated in the landscape, literally touched the earth lightly, and that with commendable detailing, a sublime piece of architecture had resulted.
House of the Big Arch by Frankie Pappas. The project impresses with the way it responds to the unique site setting and the very particular personality and personal story of the owners and family. It does not conform to any preconceived notions and facilitates a very close relationship with the piece of earth that the owners love the most. The story told by the process of designing and building played a significant role in the lives of the owners as the finished project does. This project challenges the traditional perception of the house as a living machine. The extreme emphasis on one's awareness and experience of the environment throughout the house is fun and exciting. The building coexists in harmony with natural environment. Forest Hideaway by Urbis Architects. The brief was to design a family home as a sanctuary comfortable for habitation that would establish a rapport between building and the green belt of the gated estate. This resulted in a public and a private pavilion for living and bedroom spaces respectively, each carefully orientated and aesthetically resolved, in close and varied contact with the exterior landscape. The landscaping and furnishing were co-essential to the success of the design.
House Potgieter by Earthworld Architects. The building was designed masterfully. Working closely with the clients, the building was well executed. Though the home was built on an estate with limited social impact, the design is fresh. Much effort was spent on detailing and technical resolution. The design of the rafters is an expression of artistic freedom, and the use of a polycarbonate roof creates an internal heat zone that was cleverly thought through. The landscaping integration with the building footprint was well executed, and it is imagined that this will only improve with time. The jury congratulates the architect on an off-grid landmark that will hopefully be a catalyst for a higher-aimed architecture for buildings to follow. Lapalala Wilderness School by Local Studio. The site, located in the elbow of the river at the bottom of the valley, provides a flat area for the campus layout and offers educational opportunities related to the riverine ecosystem, fertile soil for food gardens, and adds a sense of place by way of the river and adjacent ridge backdrop. From an operational and functional perspective, the facility offers ample capacity, modes, and flexibility depending on the age, type, amount, and frequency of students it caters to. There are various flexible educational spaces that offer learning spaces that range from formal to informal to open air, leisure, and physical education. The buildings, outdoors, and circulation spaces are simple, uncomplicated, and robust in terms of materials, finishes, and construction methods, as would be expected for a public facility. The rammed earth walls, steel pergola, and slatted window screens are elements that raise the aesthetical aspect of the relatively simple buildings. The development succeeds in providing a development that is in total harmony with the natural environment.
Nike Shapa Soweto by C76 Architecture and Design. In 2010, Nike commissioned the construction of a soccer training facility in Soweto. Some 10 years later, Nike decided to expand the facility, and the new architects utilized this opportunity to create a better connection between the existing building and the street and to add additional amenities. The architects create a vibrant forecourt facing the street, encouraging passers-by to engage with activities happening at the center. The forecourt accommodates a skate park, various landscape areas, shaded seating, and a series of retail kiosks that can be rented out when major events take place. Woven steel elements reminiscent of the technology used by Nike in making their sports shoes has been used to create a canopy which, together with newly planted trees, create ever-changing patterns of light and shade, exemplifying the idea of movement. The renamed Shapa Soweto now extends into the community both visually and physically. The existing building was also reconfigured to promote a better relationship with Chris-Hani Drive. Other rooms were reprogrammed with the explicit intention of attracting more female athletes and creating a safe space for young women in the area.
The River Retreat, Camps Bay by Mark Thomas Architects. A variously sloped site, heavily wooded, with a perennial mountain stream running diagonally through it, may not be the most promising of architectural propositions. But this unique project overcomes all possible hurdles with great aplomb. The street entrance offers no clue as to the nature of the difficult terrain. Entry is gained via an informal, open-air, off-street parking area, and a short walk across a bridge descends gently toward the front entrance. It was a deft solution to site the building close against the Erf border in the larger triangular section, enabling beautiful garden and mountain views diagonally back across the stream. The design may be described as semi-open plan, with most interior spaces having the potential of switching from mixed use to something more specific. The sophisticated spatial articulation throughout the entire building and terrain is characterized by a playful sense of expectation and surprise, beyond doubt an architectural gem. Plaatje University, new auditorium and office building by Urba Architects. The solid thermal mass of the walls stand for the formality of education, while large windows connect the relaxed surrounding outside spaces to the building's interior. Wall cavities are critical voids of both sound and heat insulation, as well as service channels. A textured palette in neutral colors defines the overall materiality of the structure, while necessary bursts of color articulate material differences and less formal places inside and outside the building. Internally, the building consists of a large void seemingly carved into the solid building mass. This volumetric space hosts various rooms at different levels, visually threaded and interconnected, activating haptic experiences and encouraging interaction and movement. The architect's idea was to create a conducive environment for engaged learning. It holds a striking balance between the formality of education and the youthfulness of the user. This is achieved through color, stepped seating, and the airiness of volumes, which may symbolize freedom within the limitations of the envelope. the inventive designs that introduce natural light to central spaces are commendable.
The Folly by Common Architecture. The design of an artist's ceramic studio with wine and whiskey cellar, which was also to serve as a party venue and annex to a distinctive modern house, saw the remaining portion of the steep site come into consideration. The multifunctional brief was reinterpreted as a retreat in off-shutter concrete and literally merged with the hilltop of the steep natural landscape. The spaces open to an outdoor area from which to enjoy distant views to the ocean. The circular path for ascending is delightful in the designs, creativity, and unseen elegance displayed by the Folly.
Additions to Calling Academy Stellenbosch by Salt Architects. Calling Academy is an NPO with the vision to provide quality education to low-income learners. The brief called for much-needed additional accommodation on an existing site realized with a shoestring budget. A prominent, continuous concrete block screen as eastern facade announces the new addition to the Stellenbosch campus upon arrival. Positioned between the original school building and the sports field, the permeable screen creates a circulation spine dappled in varying patterns of light alongside the new additions, all tucked under a large tiled terracotta-colored roof. The roof deepens at the southern end of the building to create a generous veranda overlooking the sport field and scenic surroundings. Programmatically, the new section accommodates a reception, staff room and ablutions, principal office, boardroom, strong room, classroom, library and counselling room in the main pavilion leading to the veranda. A science lab and storeroom is positioned to the north at the entrance to the new addition. Various outdoor levels and volumes, roofed and unroofed, in between built forms, create vital courtyards and outdoor spaces for learners and staff to linger. The project is exemplary in creating spatial richness with limited means. The architectural articulation of pliable indoor and outdoor spaces, undulating roof volumes, and the innovative use of a restricted palette of raw materials create a sense of generosity and resourcefulness, enriching the learning environment to contribute to the Academy's commitment to deliver excellent education in an inspiring setting. Multipurpose Hall and Aquatic Centre by Mayor and Associate Architects and Urban Designers. This contribution to St. Cyprian School campus delighted in its ability to sit independently and as part of a whole. As an entrant into the Coverland Awards for the year, the project's use of the material not only rooted it aesthetically to the campus and surrounds, but celebrated an architectural expression through roof tiles. The project is cleverly cut into the hillside, embedding within it a pool and viewer stands that meet the street level with glazing for passive engagement, natural lighting, and views into the incredible volume. Above sits a multi-purpose court that affords an indoor facility to the school that again is bathed in natural light and generously afforded views of the mountainscape beyond. The courtesy of the architects and urban designers in ensuring the buildings fit into the campus is met by arched, covered walkways that nod to the pre-existing and hint at the new addition. Threads by Kate Otten Architects. The architectural piece Threads intricately weaves the golden thread of Johannesburg's history into a multifaceted narrative. Beginning with a cosmic event 2 billion years ago, the installation skillfully integrates the meteorite's impact and subsequent gold rush, emphasizing a dangerous liaison between wealth and exploitation. Departing from a linear, patriarchal approach, the piece embraces simultaneous, intuitive storytelling through age-old craft traditions narrated by women. The beaded necklace, a celestial map above the Vredefort dome, reclaims extracted gold as an African artifact rather than a mere commodity. The contour map backdrop, depicting mining towns along the ridge, contextualizes the narrative. The interplay of light and shadow, mapping the geology, creates a three-dimensional, immersive space that beckons viewers to engage from multiple perspectives. In its intuitive and collaborative design, Threads responds to sensory cues, employing color, light, and pattern to elevate the tactile act of handcrafting. By offering diverse ways of seeing, the architectural piece not only honors Johannesburg's past, but also paves the way for a future that nurtures the human spirit through a richly layered sense of place. Very creative, and indeed a creation of originality to what architecture is, including the potential use of materials.